And welcome back to another episode of Under Review, where we look at all the latest and greatest games to release for majority of all the consoles. Now this week we are looking at a brand new entry into the Ace Combat series, a true return to form. And we look at Namco Bandai's Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown. Now Ace Combat has always been one of those titles that has had a strong following, but it has been a selective audience. This isn't what is considered a mass appeal game, but more of a selective fan service game. Now to me, I have always enjoyed fighter pilot games and always enjoyed like the flight simulator titles, and the majority of the Ace Combat titles have always to me been fun to play. They do have a strong sense of realism, and if you're a fan of military style games, this is right up your alley. Now the problem I am running into with Skies Unknown is where do I place it amongst the other Ace Combat titles? And does this offer any kind of a leap forward that the series will evolve going forward? Now to begin, Skies Unknown is a direct sequel to the 2007 title Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation, and completely disregard Horizon and Infinity, which may actually be a solid choice. Skies Unknown is a callback to the days of old, except the textures and graphics got a huge upgrade, and all the planes are based off of real-world military fighter jets, and are ever so detailed. Now the sound effects are actually really top-notch as well. This becomes more apparent when you play in the 3-mission VR mode. Now Ace Combat 7 does push the players directly into the fight. It becomes tense, fast, and almost dares you to fight below the hard deck and seriously dogfight. And I have to admit, even when you're fighting drones, I actually began to sweat a little bit, especially when in VR, which brings me to one of my standouts for the series, and it's in the PlayStation VR exclusive fighter missions. Now there's 3 missions, which I do wish was a little bit more expansive. Like I wish it was expanded more than just 3, and I kind of wish you could play the entire campaign in VR, but unfortunately you only have 3 missions, and you play with the pilot that you had in Ace Combat 4. So basically what they do is they will drop you into the world. No time to learn the controls. And there is no quote unquote, let's teach you how to fight. This is, you have a wingman, you're thrown into a conflict which results in dogfights with an enemy nation. And these fighters are good, especially when you play in hard mode. Now I will point out, when you play in VR, you have to and are required to use expert flight controls. There's no other alternative. So it really, really makes you learn how to actually kind of fly a plane a little bit. You know, at least steering and shooting and stuff like that. You don't have to learn like all the buttons and the nuances, but at least the steer and to maneuver is definitely there. And the effects are so lifelike. There is a time limit, and you can run out of ammunition, so when you shoot, you better not miss. And when you fly into another plane's jet stream, your plane does start to rattle and feels a little bit of like strong turbulence. And when flying through debris, you can hear it hitting your plane and window. And I will say this, if you in any way, get motion sickness easily, this will make you sick, because you feel like you really are flying at high speeds. So take a Dramamine. You do unlock other planes as you progress, and they all have different features. So some are much quicker and better at aerial combat, while others are a bit slower, but great for ground defenses. Based on the missions you choose, pick your plane wisely. I also have to point out that the game actually has a really killer soundtrack. Now, for some, they may look at the story as a bit cheesy, and do not like the coming back to gameplay of Ace Combat 6. I understand it. But I would argue that the previous two entries were probably among the series' worst, and the return to formula that had made the series great was a positive stepping stone. I do wish that the VR mode was playable throughout the entire campaign, but here is hoping that they add more to the VR missions with additional downloadable content. The game is fun to play and is a great return to form and leaves me really looking forward to where they may go with the franchise moving forward. So with that, we gave Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's a great game. If you've never played an Ace Combat game, this is actually a really good one to pick up. If you're looking for something to add to your library of VR experiences, this is right up there. If you have all the systems and you're looking at which one to get it on, it's all going to be based off of that choice. Me personally, I picked mine up for the PlayStation because I wanted the VR experience, and that VR experience is exclusive to PlayStation. So you have to look at it that way. So with that, thank you guys so much for listening. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Until next time, everybody, game on.